hard to think about life without that force of nature that our very special friend was Barbara Bush. She was smart, strong, fun, and feisty, even sometimes making the headlines she regretted. The world saw that, and like we did, they admired and loved her for it. The world saw a remarkable and selfless companion to her beloved husband, George. It was extraordinary how she managed their rambunctious household in 29 different homes in 17 cities. At the same time, she fully participated in his amazing career, including too many political campaigns to count, starting from the time he was chairman of the Harris County Republican Party to becoming President of the United States. Once back in Houston, they continued their dedication to volunteerism and exhausting rounds of good works. Rather than bemoan their many moves, Barbara just laughed and said, "One thing I can say about George, he may not be able to keep a job, but he's certainly not boring." The world saw a compassionate but strict mother who inspired her children with tender love and firm lessons, and when needed, the fear of God. When we saw her and George together with their 5 children, with their 17 grandchildren and 7 great-grands, we knew they represented the very best. As we watched their brood wisecrack with one another or work together on a volunteer program or campaign, we thought how wonderful it would be if more families could be so cohesive. Barbara, the tough but loving enforcer, was the secret sauce of this extraordinary family. The world respects Barbara Bush's deep passion and great effectiveness in equipping those who cannot read with the skill to do so. We all celebrate her vision and tenacious dedication to literacy. Of course, the world has seen Barbara's many public contributions, but what the world may not have seen is what an amazing, caring, and beautiful friend that Bar was to so many of us. When Jim and I first arrived in Washington in 1975, I was overwhelmed trying to manage our newly blended family of 7 children in an intimidating environment. Fortunately, Bar took me under her wing. She encouraged me, she offered suggestions, and she invited us to lunch almost every Sunday lunch. Those hamburger lunches that always ended with an incredible dessert included famous personalities as well as many unknowns whom they loved, and this really helped us become part of the Washington world. When we returned to Washington in 1981, George was vice president and Jim was White House chief of staff. Bar encouraged me to use Jim's position in the Reagan administration to promote the causes that I cared about. This really pushed me out of my comfort zone, but I followed her wise lead. She supported my efforts to help the homeless by holding meetings in the vice president's house. What a blessing! This meant that many came who otherwise would have not given our group the time of day. She also hosted controversial homeless advocates so we could help people understand about the plight of those who live on the street, even though that was not a popular position in the administration. Bar taught us volumes about who our neighbors are and how to love them. Because of their own tragic loss of daughter Robin, Barbara knew how to comfort those who were suffering. My Jim was among them as she helped him during his first wife's losing battle with cancer. Barbara's motivation to help others was never about herself, but about giving love and support to those in need. Her friendship didn't stop with people she knew. Barbara Bush was pen pals with people she had never met. She corresponded for several years with a young girl who named her heifer after Barbara. The child sent frequent updates on the bovine Barbara Bush, which competed in the Houston Rodeo and Livestock Show one year and finished in 8th place. I was sorry for my little friend, Barbara said later, but was slightly relieved, as I am not sure I could have stood the headlines, "Barbara Bush wins the Fat Stock Show." About friendship, Barr said, "The most important yardstick of your success will be how you treat other people, your family, your friends, and co-workers, and even strangers you meet along the way." She was the gold standard of what it meant to be a friend, because she was motivated by the desire to show God's love to each and every one of his children that she met. C.S. Lewis once defined friendship as the instrument by which God reveals to each of us the beauties of others. Barr's beauty was evident in every day of her life. Saying goodbye to our special friend is painful, but it's a great comfort in knowing that we will see this good and faithful servant again one day. Thank you, dear Lord, for bringing Barbara Pierce Bush, this vibrantly beautiful human being, into the world, and especially for bringing her friendship into our lives. Amen.